What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Ask Paul, the podcast where you get to ask me, Paul Abernathy, anything you want on the National Electrical Code. Of course, all things electrical as well. If you've never listened to the podcast before, it's available for free over on our mobile app, which you can get on our website by going to fasttracksystem.com. And in the navigation, you'll see mobile app. And in the mobile app, you actually can listen to all podcasts there, but you also can listen to our podcast on all of your favorite podcast listening platforms like Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio. All you got to do is look for Master the NEC. But you can also look for the Let's Ask Paul podcast as well. Again, you can get both of these directly from our mobile app. It's free. We're not going to put anything on your phone. It's web-based. But it is available over on our website with a quick link as well as a QR code if you want to get that on your phone. All it'll do is put a shortcut right on your screen so you can tap it. It's all web-based. Don't worry, we're not going to put any spyware garbage on your phone. Anybody knows me knows I ain't going to do something like that. All right. Well, let's get started in today's topic. Again, so we had a question that was submitted, and it wasn't necessarily about the National Electrical Code. It is going to impact us electrically. If you're a contractor and you're buying products, you're importing products, you're using boxes or something that may be made in another country, China, Singapore, or Taiwan, or Japan, or wherever, and you're bringing it into the country, you'll notice that we have new tariffs that went into, or an elevated tariff that went into effect here on the 9th of April. And people are freaking out. I mean, everybody's freaking out. The stock market's freaking out, going up and down, up and down. Even Dave Portnoy, who's saying that he lost money in the stock market because of these tariffs, and he's crying the blues. And that tells you that Dave is a day trader. He's not a long-term investor. Okay, there's a big difference, and we'll talk about that today. But I wanted to talk a little bit. The question was submitted to me, and I'll read the question because it's important to get context of a question. It says, "Hey, Paul, I love your podcast, and I was listening to your coffee hour this morning, and I have an important question I want to ask you, and it, again, is your opinion. I understand you hate to give opinions on certain topics, but would you please give your opinion on the tariffs and why so many people are flipping out? It's not an issue of Republican versus Democrat. It is simply an issue of people are freaking out because the U.S. is finally standing up and requiring equal representation, whether it's import or export. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Keep up the good work, and I'll catch you on tomorrow's coffee hour." Okay. That is great. It does allow me to opine on it. And again, I'm going to agree. I can see, I've already gotten into debates over on YouTube and in other channels, and people having a hissy fit over these tariffs, only because they're wanting to buy something right now, and the price went up on a Chinese import, and they're freaking out. And I'm like, just chill out. Did you really need it that bad, right, at this moment? Now, let me explain a little bit. So first of all, what are tariffs? In the easiest explanation of a tariff for everybody out there who's not aware of tariffs, it's a tax. Basically, it's a tax. If you want to sell your product in my country, or in my, we'll just say my country, then you're going to pay a tax, right? And basically, we take that tax. If I sell my product in your country, I'm going to pay a tax. Now, one thing was great when we got rid of NAFTA years ago, and we changed that in order to get a much better, and this was under Trump's first term, a much better agreement between, let's say, Canada and Mexico and the North American Free Trade Deal. When we got a better deal, it was better for America. And you know what? It kind of slid under the radar. Nobody made a big wave about it, but it was great because the NAFTA was very lopsided, okay? Trade deal, very lopsided trade deal. And so let's look at it now. So why are tariffs important for one? There's certain countries in Europe, for example, that do not take American goods. They will limit. They say their roads are too thin or too narrow. They don't want our cars over there. If we make an American card, they don't want it. And so they refuse it, or they set the tariff so high on certain things in certain categories that it just makes it not realistic for us to sell goods to that country. Now, Americans, the consumption of cheap products, okay, not made in America, which doesn't necessarily mean they're made any less cheap. It's just that we're not making our stuff in a sweatshop, okay? We're not making our stuff where Ho Chi Minh can make it for, $5, whereas it's going to cost us 10 times more, right? And so at the end of the day, when you talk about the tariffs, it was so disproportionate in what we would charge for tariffs versus what they would charge based on the market share. I mean, the U.S. market is massive when it comes to product, right? But compare that to China. China has a lot of people, okay? A lot of people condensed in an area. So they don't have the insatiable need to have U.S. products, and they really don't have the need for their certain products for them, so they make them cheap. They export them to other countries. It helps their economy, right? So we buy them. I just recently purchased a Chinese mini excavator, okay? And people are like, Paul, why did you do that? I'm like, well, I got it before the tariff went up. We'll see if the eBay seller honors that, because he's going to lose money because it is increased dramatically. The percentages of increase are crazy compared to what that they just got involved in. So we're talking tariffs now that immediately went to, like for China, 104%. There's no way that can be sustained. And people are freaking out over it. And I'm telling you right now, folks, it had to be done. Yeah, I mean, you don't like it that it was Trump. You may not like Trump, whether you like him personally, you don't like his politics, you just don't. If you don't like what he stands for, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me whether somebody likes Trump or Biden or Obama or whoever. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. Y'all know who I like, but it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter who it is. We needed this right now. And what this does is this tries to do what we call an economic reset. First of all, you already see now that there's trillions of dollars, companies who want to build in the U.S. That's good for the U.S. And you should be wanting things that are good for the U.S. if you live here. If you don't live here, get the hell out. But if you're here, you should want things that are good for our economy, bringing back jobs, growth, having manufacturers actually make stuff here. Now, it's going to cost more to make it here because we don't pay sweatshops. Okay, we have labor laws. We have things that you have to, do here. We have certain things that we have to hold true to under our American values that they don't necessarily hold true to in these other countries. And we know this. But the first time that somebody cries about that, we go, well, I mean, you want to go to work for McDonald's, and now the minimum wage, they want to make it what, $17, $18, $19 really to flip a hamburger? So that affects everything else, but you're okay with that. But you're like, but wait a minute, I still want to get my cheap stuff from China. When they're over there, you've got a sweatshop making a Nike for $1.25, selling them over here on eBay for $350 a pair of Jordans or something. I'm just saying, you can't have it both ways, okay? Now, I get it. We love cheap products. We love to pay less. And I'm no different, okay? People ask me, Paul, if you're so passionate, you care about this tariff thing, then why did you buy a Chinese? Why couldn't you buy American? Buy a Bobcat, buy something in America. Well, the chances are that product that's made in America is probably using an engine like a Kubota that's from Japan. They use parts from other countries and everything. So very little is probably 100%. And I'm not saying this across the board, but very little today is probably 100% nuts to bolts is American. They're going to be using products in it, components in it. So it's very little. Okay. So when I buy something that is imported and I pay that importer, right? They're making money. They're here. They're in the U.S. They imported it. They're going to be making money. If I want to buy something straight from China, then I've got to pay the taxes. I got to pay the duties. I got to pay for it to get logistics from here to there, from the port, all this kind of stuff. I got to pay all that, right? So yeah, I'm buying it cheaper, but I still have to pay all that stuff. So a lot of times when we buy products like my excavator, I assumed that the tariffs were already built into it. Now that was before it's gone from 10% or 20% tariff to 30 to 44% to now 104 or whatever percent is. I get it. I get it. But this is necessary, whether you like it or not. So does that mean you're going to hold off on buying some import because you're going to pay more than you would have a day ago? Absolutely. You need to suck it up. Okay? It is what it is. Trust me, they are not going to leave it like that. China can act like they're tough all they want. They've been ripping us off for years, intellectual property, stealing our products, designing products that mirror products that are U.S.-based. They use very cheap labor. They charge taxes on our products that we export to them, and we charge taxes on stuff that we import from them. But other than that, there's other trade agreements that are wrapped up into that are very one-sided. And then you have some countries, this is not just about China, by the way. And that's the other big thing people are saying. UK, for example, Europe, they won't accept certain things. France won't accept certain things from the US, right? Or they hit tariffs that are so high, but yet when we slap a reciprocal tariff on them, which a reciprocal tariff means that we're going to tariff you the same as you're tariffing us. That's it. And everybody goes apeshit. They literally do. They go apeshit over it, and they don't understand the concept of tariffs. Now, let's talk about this for a second. And I'm going to use Dave Portnoy for an example. Dave went on there and says that he lost because of the stock market, which is volatile anyway. I don't care much for the stock market anyway, although I understand 401k, long-term growth, be in it to win it for the long term. There are a lot of people that are day traders, and they've been making quite a good amount of money as a day trader. Dave Portnoy is a day trader. Okay, that's what he likes to do. So he says he lost $7 million. You haven't lost shit until you sell it. He's not getting rid of that stock because it's on the downturn. He's going to keep it. Now he says he's $20 million down. You know what? For somebody that has a net worth of $300 million or more, let me explain something. And Dave Ramsey, who I don't agree with all the time, probably can say it better though than me. This is a great time for people that have money because now they can double down. They get to buy it cheap. They know it's coming back. They know that the economy is not going to stay down. Just look at the historical nature of the stock market. Okay. I'm scared to get into it because, again, I don't like to gamble that type. I don't even gamble at casinos. I went to an Indian casinos a couple of times with my wife, but I don't gamble with what I got to eat with. And some people love it. I can never get addicted to gambling. I just can't do it. Now, I have a 401k, but that's long term. I'm letting it ride. So the people that are freaking out about the stock market and saying, oh, don't you like watching your net worth go away? Shut the hell up. Your net worth, you're not selling it. Just leave it there. And in fact, for me, I have a 401k through Encore Wire Corporation. The money I contribute's not changing. They're going to be able to get more stock if the value drops. They're going to get more shares from me so that when it goes up, I'm going to win on the back end long term. People don't understand it. And so at the end of the day, you have to be, if you're in the stock market, again, I'm not talking to day traders who want to play around and go low, buy high, buy low, sell high. That's what you want to do, then you can cry and moan over that volatility all you want. Most people that are in it for the long haul are in stocks for 20, 30 years. I am not a stock investor. I'm a big believer of putting my money in a simple savings account that gives me 4 to 5% interest and let it ride. Okay, because I'm going to pay taxes on that interest anyway. So I just put it in there and let it ride. Okay, I keep it under the FDIC. I get multiple accounts so that money is kept under the FDIC, which is for an individual is $250,000. For a couple or jointly, it's $500,000. You can have as many banks as you want, but you can only have limited ones in one bank. Okay, give different categories. For example, my wife could have a limit of $250. I could have a limit of $250, and jointly we could have a limit of $500. So that basically is $1 million that's protected by FDIC. Okay, the moment you go over that, then you run the risk. Doesn't mean you won't get your money, but that's only after liquidation. So, and again, by the way, I'm not a tax advisor, so don't take any of my tax. If I had to listen to my advice years ago, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now if I had bought Bitcoin when everybody said buy Bitcoin. I said, nope, I don't trust it. I still don't trust it today, but there's people that have made a fortune on it. So there's many things. Like I should have bought Newsmax just weeks ago. I knew Newsmax over the next 4 years is going to be riding a conservative high that it's going to be, and you look at the numbers, you really can't lose. But I just don't like stock market. Now, when it comes to 401k, I just let her ride. And when the stock market is down, I'm giddy. Really, I am, dude. I'm not ready to retire. I'm not messing with my 401k. Now, if you're right at the cusp of retirement or you're in it and you're using your 401k, then that sucks. But it is what it is. We have to, and that's not Trump. You know, folks will say, well, it's because of these tariffs. No, this was just they kept kicking the can down the road year after year after year. We were taken advantage of. Other countries were not taking our products or not importing our products or very little. We as a U.S. consume stuff and we like it cheap, so we had no problem going to the Dollar Trees and the Amazons and all that who live off of these imports. Everything you pretty much buy on these things are probably made overseas. So at the end of the day, the tariffs are designed to say, you know what, it's a tax. It's a tax. So you're going to charge me this much for products that we sell to you, and we're going to charge you this much for products that you try to import to sell to us. Okay? Now, people are quick to say, well, Elon Musk he wants a zero tariff, zero, and he disagrees with Trump. You're not listening. You're not hearing it. Elon Musk is against tariffs because Elon Musk believes that we should have no tariffs, free exchange amongst countries, right? I'm going to sell to you and you sell to me. Screw the tariffs. You know what? And just have free trade. That's what Elon believes in, okay? And that's great in a utopian world, but the reality is none of the other countries are going to do that. And so what do we have to do as a country? We have to rip off the Band-Aid and say, you know what? I don't have a choice. We're going to raise the tariffs to make you come to the table. Do you and I believe for any amount, and you're going to say, well, I believe it, Paul. Look, do you believe that for any amount of time that China, and I'm picking on China, but China can sustain 104% tariff and still send products to the U.S.? No, they can't. Can we sustain not getting products from China? Yes. I can do without my mini excavator. Shit, I don't, you know what I'm saying? We have enough stuff here. Their economy can't. Our economy can. And so that's the leverage. And if they want to come to the table, this thing will be over next week. It could be over it could be over right now. It's, what is it? 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is in China. This shit could end right away. They act like they're not going to end, but that's just publicly tough talk. At the end of the day, when it starts hurting them, they're going to come to the table. That's why you saw other countries, Japan and all them, quickly wanting to talk to Trump. Look, it didn't matter whether it was Trump or Biden or Kamala. It wouldn't matter. This is the right thing to do right now for history. It's time to get rid of that DEI shit It's time to get rid of all that wokeness. It's time to put America first in all cases. I see these politicians, these people that are protesting in saying, talking about illegal immigrants. Dude, if you're here illegally, they say, well, they didn't commit a crime. I know I'm deviating from the topic, but they say they don't commit a crime. The moment that they walked into this country illegally, improperly, they committed a crime. It doesn't matter whether they're jaywalking or committed murder. They committed a crime the moment that they came in here illegally. That's it. They should go. That doesn't mean I don't want people to come into this melting pot of America. I do. I love all races, all different creeds, and the melting pot. And some of my best friends are black folks, African-American folks, and Indians, and I've got some great Jewish friends. I got some great Muslim friends. Dude, I don't hate anybody, okay? But at the end of the day, if you are here illegally, you need to come in legally. Get your ass out. Come back the right way. That's all I'm saying. Then we'll welcome you in here with open arms. So I think people are just not seeing what Trump is doing. You know, you don't have to like him. And I'm sure I'll lose listeners because you don't like him. And that's fine. If you can't listen to the bitter truth, then that's on you. I can't help it. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. I don't care what your belief is. I don't care where you stand in your spectrum of life. I don't really care. I'm answering the question that the gentleman sent me. So rounding it back to tariffs and ending this podcast on tariffs, it's necessary. It is necessary right now to play that hard card and make the countries come to the table, because at the end of the day, it's going to mean back to prosperity. New building in America. Look at already, it's $5 trillion of commitment from companies that want to build here in the U.S. People say, we don't have the land for it. Bullshit. We got plenty of land. We got plenty of land to make this happen. Okay? Don't opine about shit that you don't know anything about on social media. There's plenty of land, plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of old buildings that can be revamped, rebuilt, torn down, built up. We can have another rebirth of America being this amazing place to be. And it already is amazing. We're very blessed to be here, okay? You've seen pictures of other countries. I could not live in China. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But at the end of the day, we are very blessed. And so for everybody that says, oh, woe is me, it's so bad here, they hate things, get the hell out, because you're living in the best country in the world to live in. If you don't believe that, then go where you think it is better. But I don't see you going. You ain't going nowhere because you just are talk. You know, action, just talk, right? I ain't going anywhere. I love America. I love what's going on. Is it suck that I might not get my excavator because the seller may back out because he's getting hit with 104% tariffs even after I've already paid him? Yeah. Am I going to trash him on eBay and cause his account to get banned if that happens? Absolutely I am. Welcome to America. Okay. But at the end, because I want them to honor it, I got in before the tariff. I'm just saying. It's just like me selling my house. If I sell my house and I agree to a contract of $400,000, and all of a sudden the value of it goes to $550,000 over the next 30 days to 45 days of closing, am I going to get that extra money? Hell no. I'm going to get what we agreed. And that's it. They're going to get the appreciation. I'm not going to get the appreciation, right? That sucks, but it is what it is, right? Same concept. All right, hopefully I answered that question for you. I am all for the tariffs. Does that mean that the little cheap import stuff that I like to import and do that stuff for my lasers and all that stuff, does that mean I'm going to pay more? Yeah, if I want it, I will. But I don't need it. Nobody needs. You get me? Nobody needs to import stuff from China. You don't need it. You want it. You don't need it. Okay? So, at the end of the day, just wait. This will be worked out. Trust me. I was right about TikTok, wasn't I? I told y'all it ain't going nowhere, and everybody got crazy, and I was like, it ain't going nowhere. It's worth too much money to go anywhere. It ain't going anywhere. Listen to me. Just ride this out. I don't care if you hate Trump. I don't care if you hate Biden. I don't care any politics. Tariffs are right now in this world where we're at. The ripping down statues, the DEI, hiring people that aren't qualified for the job just to meet a quota. All of that shit needs to end. It needed to end. It finally took somebody with balls to end it. And he's not running for another term. So he doesn't care. You people don't get it. He don't care. But he does love America. This tariff is for America, not stealing money, hiding money, doing that like the Biden regime. This is about America. And if you don't understand how tariffs go, then you don't get it. Go read and see how we were taken advantage of by many other countries. See, or other countries wouldn't even take our products that we make. Also see why companies were leaving America to go to other countries, because they can make shit cheaper and then exploit youth labor, okay, and unfair work practices. We don't do that in the U.S. We want to bring that back here. You should want that as an American. And if you don't, something's wrong with you. Till next time, folks, stay safe. God bless. And check us on the next episode of Let's Ask Paul the podcast. Peace.